Hello, first of all, I hope everyone's doing really well on this very warm day. Drink water and stay healthy. Anyway, Leeds United have signed former West Ham and England under-18s wonder kid Sonny Perkins until 2025. In this video, I'm just going to have a little chat about the player, a few of his stats, who's the player, how the deal came across, the reaction to the deal, a little bit of the player's personality. We'll make a profile of the player, who he is, all that stuff. Yeah, let's get into it. I believe the full first team contract at West Ham. West Ham were expected, they were expecting him to do it. They thought it was a clear thing that he would do, but he turned that down. And West Ham's statement was not happy, which I'll read right now. In a statement released at the time, read, "The club is disappointed with Perkins' representatives and strongly believe he was approached to sign from another club, which led him asking to be released from his scholarship at West Ham. West Ham United take the matter very seriously, and we believe the rules and structures are in place at the Football Association and Premier League should be upheld at all times." So this is a conversation. I think we call it tapping. When a young player's at contract and you've got bigger clubs talking to him, but we see it all the time. It happens. It's football. They're not happy about it, and whatever. But it's clear the young lad did not want to continue with them for whatever reason. We'll get into those reasons, but first we're going to get into his stats. So, Sonny Perkins was born in London, England. He's 18 years old, born on 10th February 2004. Wow, that makes me old. He's a current England U18s international, and he's made 20 appearances in the Premier League 2 for West Ham, scoring 10 goals and getting 1 assist. In the U18s Premier League, 29 appearances, 9 goals and 4 assists, which is around 248 minutes per goal and 162 per goal in the Premier League 2, which good numbers, especially for a young player in a league that is pretty decent. It's a good standard in the Premier League 2. It's all the best young players in the country. He predominantly is a striker. He can play in behind though, and he can play on the wing a little bit, but he's predominantly a striker. He's a central player. I think it's a thing to say. I've watched him twice when he played Leeds both times, and he's a player that can control the ball very well. And what I mean by that is when he has the ball, it's hard to get off it. He manipulates where he wants the ball to go. He can find a pass quickly. He's got really quick feet for a big man. He can pass and move. He's a presence up front. Also, he's also very agile. He's not just a presence, a lump, so to speak. He's very agile and quick for a big guy, actually, which I was impressed by. He scored a goal and got an assist against Leeds in that game. Yeah, as you can see down here, he's made as we spoke earlier, he's made his Europa League debut, played there twice, and made his Premier League debut at the age of 17 or 18, how old he was then. So yeah, it's an impressive resume for a young guy. Not too much can be said into this because obviously he's 18 years old and he's only played in the Premier League 2 mainly, apart from 2 or 3 times. There's not much on his stats at this point. But that's his stats. I think from the eye test, like I just said, it's obvious to see his strengths. He's very, very good in tight spaces, which is vital in a Jesse Marsh system. So I can see the talent there, and I can see where he can thrive in this Leeds team. And I can see why maybe he chose Leeds over his clubs. Yes, that's it for the stats. We'll move on to the next part. So yeah, first, this is an article here by Fansided. About West Ham's future star, talking about Sonny Perkins. Just a little quick one. West Ham comfortably beat Rapid 2-0, give young Perkins a debut. So he made his debut in the Europa League round 16 against Rapid Vienna. Also says here he almost scored with his first touch. So he got 15 minutes in that game. That was his debut, I believe. This is the interesting part here in the article. So Perkins was an attacking midfielder, but after an injury crisis in the West Ham youth ranks, he started playing as a striker at the beginning of this season, which is interesting. So he used to be an attacking midfielder until injury. Maybe that's something to watch, but as far as I'm aware, he played quite a bit of last season. He did miss a few games. I'm not sure whether that was to rest because he was part of the first team or because of injury. I'm not too sure about that. So maybe that's something that could hold him back. That's a worrying thing. But maybe with growth, as you grow older, you'll get over that. Let's see. But yeah, he used to be a striker. Used to be an attacking midfielder, but he's moved into striker position, and obviously it's working because he's scored a lot of goals. And when you watch him, he's a real finisher. Hits it hard and low. He knows where the net is. Yeah, good for him. Also, the further on in the article it says the teenager has got a perfect hat trick in his first game as a centre forward, the under-18s side, and hasn't looked back since. Wow, perfect hat trick in your first game. That's not a bad way to stamp your authority, I guess. Not bad, eh? It also says here, his unbelievable form has led to him being promoted to the age group above the under-23s, where he has scored 5 goals as West Ham second place in the division, point behind Leeds Arsenal. So they clearly got a really good youth system at West Ham, which is something we're getting into. But I think the transition to the first team is not as good as you'd expect, given the amount of young talents they have, which is something we're going to get into in a minute, because that's where the controversy kind of lies in this situation. Yeah, let's get into it. He's clearly very highly rated in West Ham. It only was by Kevin Nolan here, who says, just 2 months after being midfielder for the under-18s, he made his first team debut as a striker in the European League stage. This is what Rapid Vienna. His remarkable rise shows David Moyes, as well as Kevin Nolan, who keeps a close eye on promising West Ham youngsters, believe Perkins has what it takes. So that's coming from the coach, Kevin Nolan, and David Moyes, the manager of West Ham. Which he has what, if your manager's giving you that praise, that's all you need, right? That's proof that he's clearly a talented footballer who has a lot of potential. Yeah, good for him. Just to end this article off as well, speaking of the match, Perkins said, everything has happened so quickly this season. It felt great out of the play of all these great players and training with whatever. Yes, now I'm going to move on to this interesting article here. So this is West Ham World. I just found it. I've been looking online, trying some good articles, and this is talking about Sonny Perkins. And yes, I found this article here called West Ham World, and this article is talking about when Sonny Perkins left and the reaction from the club and the media wasn't the best. It was very salty, I'll be honest. He didn't seem very happy with it, which I guess for Leeds is a good thing. It shows he's clearly a player they believe in and he's got talent. But anyway, so the article reads, Sonny Perkins' West Ham exit was officially confirmed by the club on Friday. The 18-year-old emerged as one of the latest promising products for the Hammers, famed academy of football last season, making 3 first-team appearances. It also says, there has been a lot of noise around the club that striker had the ability to become first-team regular. That's what you need to know. That's the important part. A lot of noise, not just a little bit, a lot of it. In the not-too-distant future, with Moyes reportedly very impressed with his progress in recent months. The article starts off nice, light, talking about him. It takes a turn. Let's do it. That was reflected in the campaign. Here we go. This is it. But in a rather surprising turn of events this week, the club announced Perkins had decided to leave the club upon the expiration of his scholarship. I can't speak. I apologise. This is where it gets really juicy. Okay. An official statement revealed Perkins had been offered a professional contract to remain in East London, but then goes on to slam his representatives and hinted at the player being tapped up by other clubs, which ultimately led to his decision to leave. The statement of the club's official website read, West Ham United can confirm 18-year-old Sonny Perkins has left the club. Perkins, who joined the West Ham Academy under 14s level, rejected the club's offerings of a professional contract. Interesting. Why? The club is now entitled to receive compensation from any clubs Perkins desires to join. Yeah, that's that compensation thing that's still going on in the background, I believe. This bit is golden. This bit is golden. This is where the saltiness kicks in. West Ham United invests millions of pounds annually into its world-renowned academy of football. And naturally, the club is extremely disappointed that Sonny has chosen not to continue his development with the Hammers. The club is disappointed with Perkins' representatives and strongly believes he was approached to sign for another club, to which led him asking to be released from his scholarship at West Ham United. West Ham United take the matter seriously. We believe rules and structures. Yeah, I've read all this. It's about the structures thing to make the game fair, whatever. All that sports stuff, all that let's be friends stuff. That's all well and good. But again, player tapping is a thing. It happened. Look at Rafinha. Barcelona were talking to him in January. They were talking the agreed terms before the end of the season. Like, it happens a lot. And if you don't make the player happy enough, he will leave. We'll continue with this because it's ridiculous. It's not so straightforward. They're not happy about it. It does appear that the story that won't go away anytime soon. West Ham have hinted in a statement that they intend to make complaints to the FA regarding approach. Yeah, well, we know this. They complained, didn't they? And now that it's going to tribunal or whatever and all that law stuff. Either way, it is bitterly disappointing end to a story that had barely begun for Perkins at West Ham. Bitterly disappointing to a story that had barely begun. It had been believed that the young striker would have offered more first-team chances next season, perhaps with the future loan move to a football league so around the corner. See, this is it. This is it for me, this bit. It had been believed. So, from what it seems, and there's a guy I'm going to talk about in a minute, a YouTuber, a West Ham YouTuber that's very credible. He seems like a reasonable guy as well, talking about Sonny Perkins, and he speaks differently of this. But it's just interesting the way in which it's said. Yeah, being believed that the young striker would be offered more first team chances next season, but clearly he thought not. You talk about this article goes talking about money. It's very tough, very strange decision to make. It says here, look, is it strange? I don't think it is. I'll just take my face. I don't think it is strange. He clearly is a player that believes in himself, and he clearly wanted more first-team football. And from what the person I'm about to talk about says, it seems Moyes doesn't favour youngsters as much as he should. They talk about money in this article, saying it's a weird decision. It's probably run by money, but I don't believe so. If you believe in your player that much, you're West Ham United, you can offer him as much money as we can. We're Leeds United, we're not much richer than you. We're not competing with you in the Premier League, are we? If you really believed in this player, you could offer him a lot more, in my opinion. And you haven't. And we've took that and thought, right, we're going to give you this. And also, we're going to probably give you a clearer path, which we've shown. West Ham have Declan Rice and Johnson. They're their two golden boys. But Declan Rice was that good. He was a level above everyone else. Do you know what I mean? So that was inevitable that he would make. But the fact we give, I think it was 9 debuts last season. There's clearly a path here. You look at Joe Gelhardt, Sam Greenwood, Somerville to an extent, Cresswell going out on loan. There's loads of chances. Pascal Struijk, Meslier. So for them to say this, it's just ridiculous, to be honest. Offering more money. If he wanted more money, he wanted more money. If he sees a better opportunity, I don't think it's a bad decision for him. Very strange decision, as they said. And then the article just quickly goes on to say, no one needs no reminding of the success of the club's youth academy, nor do we need to be reminded the calibre of the players who learn the trade in East London. It's a well-known fact that one of the best youth academies in the world when you consider the production line. Yeah, but in recent years, I don't think that's true. A few years ago, yeah, that was true. But from what is believed to be said under David Moyes, that's not the case. It's hard for players to break through to the first team that are young, which we'll get into now. So yeah, there's a YouTube channel, which I've wrote down. Yeah, Hammers Chat West Ham Forum. I think it's one of the most subscribed West Ham YouTube channels. So basically, he had an interview with Tony Carr, who was the director of youth development at West Ham. And in this interview, he states he spoke. So the Kevin Carr spoke to Kevin Keane. Tony Carr spoke to Kevin Keane, sorry, not Kevin, who's the under-18s coach at West Ham, and said he really likes Sonny Perkins, and stated the biggest problem was when will he get the opportunity. Now that's vital, isn't it? So that's clear. They clearly believed in the player, but on David Moyes' side, they didn't see a clear path for the player to get first team chances. You know, I heard of the guy here, the YouTube channel, the Hammers chat, said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but on the lines of, you know, you saw Antonio, who was knackered for a lot of the season, with no other striker as well, by the way, and Sonny Perkins didn't feature that much, which probably the player saw, you know, all the Europa League games, and he just didn't feature in them. He didn't play in them. He played him, what, 1 or 2 as a sub. So he didn't see a clear path. So to blame the player for wanting to leave, I think it's ridiculous. So I don't think you can blame the player. The player believed he can have better opportunities elsewhere, and he took that. So fair play to him. Yeah, that's it on that. There's just also that maybe he must go on loan was said, which I showed in the other article. But it's clear he doesn't want to go on loan. He wants to fight for a first team player, and there wasn't that pathway for him for whatever reason. There was a young player, I can't remember the name, but they were talking about it in this interview. A young centre back at West Ham who's very highly rated. I forget his name. I apologise, but he is very highly rated, like Sonny Perkins. And West Ham had a centre back crisis last season, and the centre back just didn't play. He didn't get picked, and that's degrading to a young player, isn't it? That's what you're there for. And so maybe David Moyes doesn't want young players as much. He really relies on experience. As he said, yeah, and in the thing he said, Perkins didn't see a clear path into the first team. That's paraphrasing, but on those lines, he didn't see that path. So it's difficult, but he's extremely highly rated by West Ham, clearly, by some of the reactions, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. So yeah, that's. There was just one last bit, which was interesting, on Sonny Perkins, and it was this article here. This is really quickly, I'll go through it. Talking about David Moyes. And it said, Moyes has reportedly insisted that he wants to operate the Red Bull model of West Ham, not only from playing style perspective, but also from the player recruitment angle. On the pitch, Red Bull clubs deploy an aggressive brand of attractive football and high intensity. The one cornerstone to the RB philosophy of the active without the ball, their goal is to maintain high levels of speed and vertically through their game. And then he goes on to talk about how Sonny Perkins is an 18-year-old, an incredibly gifted young talent. Which is interesting about the Red Bull angle at West. I never knew anything about that. But that may show that in terms of system, for Sonny Perkins, our system is perfect. We are the Red Bull system now with Jesse Marsh. So maybe he saw that prominent and he saw, right, I want to go there. I want to play for Leeds. There's more of a role for me there. There's more opportunity for me there. I think that's it. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. So Sonny Perkins, good signing. I look forward to seeing him in the 21s. Hopefully he can break through to the first team this year. You know, that'd be good to see. Hopefully he stays uninjured, sorry. Yeah, that's it on the video. I'd really appreciate if you left a like, especially on a day like this. I'm absolutely dying. The light is killing me. I'm sweating. Yeah, like would be amazing. But thanks for watching. Bye.